Good morning, everyone. It is More Good News Wednesday. That's right. No more hump day. It's More Good News Wednesday. We only get more good news on Wednesday, and so do you. That's why you join us every Wednesday for more good news, and we're enjoying it, everyone. Let's load up the questions. Chef Marshall joined us right there. Looking to see him on more TV. Jonathan, good to see you. Love having you on here. Callum, jakey, bakey in the house. Christina Matargiel, always a pleasure. Oh, more good news Wednesday. David Meltzer, Espanol in the house. Let's mark up. If you want my book, ebook, audiobook, or you want me to sign and send a book to you, I'll pay for shipping and sign it. Not a problem. I'll pay for everything. Just there it is, pinned below now. 949-298-2905. I don't know why they put the text number first all the time, because I'd rather people email me, david@dmeltzer.com. david@dmeltzer.com. But we'll just get the right people in the right places and the right things. This team is going to be the best team that we can get. david@dmeltzer.com. Follow the 5 daily practices. Know your what, your who, your how, your now, and your why. Nick, good to see you. Join me as well. Let's rock. Let's roll. Here we go. What is the worst investment you've ever made? Well, I think buying the condo conversion or the golf course without knowing my timing and risk tolerance, without vetting, trust and vet. Those are two deals I wish I trusted and vetted more, especially vetted more, not trusted. But the lessons learned and the value I received have exponentially paid off in the long run. But at the time, I didn't see it. Those were the two opportunities where I lost the most money, and I'm accountable. So, but those are, as far as investments, because I didn't take consideration of my timing and risk tolerance. What are your thoughts on crypto? Like I said, determinative upon your timing and risk tolerance, I can tell you what my thoughts are. And we can align it with the market makers, and the buy and sell side of Bitcoin to see how best to strategize to the alignment of your timing and risk tolerance. David Hartley, my friend, when stating that percentage of your product or service is donated to an organization, is it good practice to state exactly what percentage and which organization? Look, the more you can illuminate, the better. So, utilizing the truth always works. And so if it's a significant donation, obviously it's to more of your benefit. But I love to illuminate the truth, love to talk about how much is being donated to or for or through an organization. And I always like to say what that organization is. Personal here. Have you had the vaccine? Personal question, but I'm going to answer it. The reason, yes, I've had the vaccine. I don't get sick. So at first, my initial thoughts was I don't need the vaccine. But then my other thought is, well, everyone's worried. Why won't you take the vaccine if you're worried about getting sick? You don't get sick. The vaccine's not going to make me sick because I don't get sick, right? Because I am healthy, and I have to figure out what I'm doing to interfere with that help. I know my mindset, my heart set, and my conscious continuum is far stronger than any vaccine. But once again, I have a philosophy. What will it hurt if it works? All right. We will have Sally Schutz on here. She is joining us. There she is. Sally,
Hi.
how are you? Another great well-being coach. Welcome to my IG Live. Great to have you here.
Great to be here. Thank you. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Well, I want to talk about resilience. You talk about bouncing back. I think that's too segmented for my mindset. And I think that we just learn to clear interference between us and what we are connected to and through. You've been able to grow and accelerate and get stronger and better and learn more through struggles, pains, and challenges, seeing them as, indicators that you have a better place to be. And then taking that to help other people. Why don't you explain, your own experience with well-being and how you're using your experience to empower other people?
Absolutely. There's a lot packed in there. So I'm
I
going to
hope so.
try to remember
Makes my
all the
job
parts.
easy. I'll sit back and let you go.
Sounds good. I'll do my best. So high level, everything I'm about to say, it's all accessible to everyone. So resilience, first and foremost, is something that we all have, just like the same muscles that we build when we're working out or things that we learn in school. It's very much teachable and learnable. It's just that we're not really taught how. And now we're all like coming into this experience of having lived through a pandemic and lived through something really difficult. So I just want to kind of like lay that framework because it's all accessible. So we all know about PTSD. I'm pretty sure like everyone who's listening right now. And if you made, I'm an MBA and I like data. So if you made a graph, a curve, a bell curve, we know PTSD is that really tough end of the resilience bell curve. But the other end is something called post-traumatic growth. And that is what I'm saying is accessible to all of us. And where that lives is really being able to make meaning out of something that is really difficult. And meaning is subjective. So where David started to say that I kind of have had my opportunity to learn all about how to be resilient. I live with metastatic breast cancer. I have been living with that specific sort of stage 4 situation for 3 years. And 2 years before that was first diagnosed. And I can tell you, it is an obstacle. It is challenging. There's a lot of parts that people don't see every day. And alongside that obstacle has been so much opportunity. And I genuinely mean that. And the opportunity comes from finding ways to make meaning out of that experience. And part of what I've done is all the things I didn't learn. I went to Harvard, I went to Stanford. So all the things I didn't learn at these schools that we're supposedly...
Those are all the schools that rejected me.
Well, let me tell you, they're not where
Now they ask me to speak. Now they ask me to speak there. That's the best part.
Isn't that the best? Now they pay you to come as opposed to having to pay and go into debt to be there. And here's the secret. Those are not the places where we learn how to thrive in life. They're literally the places where we learn the things that check the boxes of, you learn the math, you learn the science, you learn the history, whatever else is the core curriculum. But the actual things that become more important as we move through life, whether it's become more senior in an organization or whether it's just navigating the challenge of a cancer diagnosis when I was 40 or a pandemic, right, which everyone has now lived through, whether you are a toddler or a senior, and having to navigate a company through that on top of just living through it personally. So we somehow in our lives, and I grew up in New York, so as an American, we've come to value things that don't actually, they're not really connected to sort of like the secrets of life, right? They're things we somehow decided were important. But what I've done over the past several years, so all after I graduated from those fancy schmancy schools with all the degrees that I thought I needed for success, is I've lived my life. And I had this cancer diagnosis and then a second and then a third. And I had to say, okay, this is where I am right now. I don't get to unchoose cancer. I don't get to unchoose, whatever it is that was the card I was dealt. But what I do get to do right now is choose how I play it and choose how I move forward and choose how do I bring that into my life. And so what I can tell you is that this has been difficult and also brought me more purpose than anything I ever did before. And it's that famous Steve Jobs commencement speech, not my year. I'm always bummed that I didn't see this live, but at Stanford in 2005, he talks about how we can connect the dots looking backward. And so here are my dots, and here's what I encourage everyone who's listening to do for their own experience through this pandemic to help come out, bounce back better, as you alluded to earlier, to really be stronger than before. So my dots, I now teach, I create positive psychology-based workshops. It's all about human flourishing. I bring them into companies, leading companies in the media space, in the consulting space. And what I do is help employees, help managers, help leaders really get their teams to a place of flourishing through moments that are difficult and also when times are really good. So that's like knowing your strengths as opposed to just your skills, which are the things that go on your resume or your LinkedIn, for example. It's knowing how to develop really meaningful connections with your colleagues, all of that stuff. So I built a company where I now do this. And there's all this amazing data that shows when companies invest in employees in this way, it's win-win. So employees feel this investment that they appreciate, especially more junior employees who aren't used to getting that because professional development may not touch them. And companies benefit because it reduces turnover. It increases really being present at the job. It increases, for public companies, there are measures that show it increases profitability and creativity and innovation, all because employees feel really seen. They have the levers, the skills, the tools to find more meaning and purpose and passion in their jobs without actually having to pay them more or promote them or do things that companies may not have the ability to do in a moment. But employees simply are given the opportunity to kind of like realize, wow, I can do this myself. And there's this great study that super quickly, really interesting, janitors at hospitals. There was a study done about 20 years ago before the pandemic, and I had this slide, and now I especially love it because of what we know from the past year. Some janitors showed really high levels of purpose in what they did, and others didn't. So a psychologist was, of course, curious, why is that? And what it turns out was that the janitors who felt a lot of purpose in what they did, when you said, what do you do? Right? What do you do? And a question we all ask. It's the first thing we ask at a cocktail party when we can be together. What do you do? The janitors who felt deep purpose, they didn't say they cleaned rooms or halls or floors, even though that is literally what they did day to day. What they did, they helped patients heal. They helped people be well. They saw themselves as a really meaningful part of that healing puzzle. And as someone who's spent a lot of time in hospitals in the past 5 years, I agree with them. And by the way, some of those folks are like, they have the biggest smiles when you pass them by in the hallway, or a hug. And I know the names of those people and the receptionists and all the other people who don't get the credit for the healing in my hospitals. And so if all of us in all of our jobs or moments in our lives can figure out how we connect to the deeper purpose of that organization, right? So I used to work at NBC Universal and at Time Warner. I have a big media background. If everyone can see not only what they do day to day, which is the small sort of P of purpose, like that's what they do, their skills. I enter data, for example. But what about if they could say, I help people be up to date on the news, or I help people smile and laugh, even if they don't make the content, because that's what those companies do. That's how we all feel more purpose and more meaning. That's Steve Jobs, like connecting the dots. That's how we do that in a really and build resilience.
Yeah, it's amazing. Engagement is so low. People just go through the motions at their job the majority of the time, not in incidences, but the majority of the time, most employees are just going through the motions, completely detached, unengaged. Even in my own journey, right? Once I switched to my mission of empowering over 1 billion people to be happy, it took on a different realm of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude that helped me, someone who's teaching like you know, the Fortune 100 companies in the world, how to give the right meaning to what they see by being efficient, effective, and statistically successful, by being of service, by making a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Well, thank you so much, Sally. You're incredible. Keep up the journey, not only for yourself, but empowering others to empower others with the same fortitude and persistent, consistent behavior, enjoying with the right meaning and the right perspective. At Sally Shoots, sallywolf.com. Anywhere else people can reach you at, Sal?
Website and the Instagram are probably the best. So thank you for giving those shout out. So
you
good
got
to
it.
be with you, Jay.
Come back again. We'll have you anytime. There's so much more I can learn from you. And I certainly appreciate everything that you do for others while you still have your own challenges like all of us. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye. Awesome. The great Sally Shoots. She's walking the walk and talking the talk, empowering others to empower others simply to be healthy, wealthy, worthy, and happy. Very simple. Nick, yes, amazing story and insights. Thank you, Sally. Very easy to ask Sally questions. She got so deep into what we all need to understand, that we give meaning to everything that we see. And you can see if that meaning is purpose tied to the activity we get paid for, we can have more that productivity and accessibility that we want. In other words, be happier at what we do. All right. I know my friend Sam is here. Sam the Hayes. Here we go. Let's let Sam join us. Sam is with the head coach at the Oklahoma Olympic Training Center there in Oklahoma, and creating the Raise the Flag with my friend Stacy Weiland. RaiseTheFlag.com. Check it out. Let's support our team. Hey, what's going on?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Dave?
I'm terrific. I got a text message from Stacy this morning. He felt like the stepchild. I don't know. We should have invited him on here. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. He's good people, you know.
He's great people. So are you. So are you.
Go.
Well, you know, I've been working with the Raise the Flag program since its inception, sitting on the Olympic Committee in Colorado Springs, obviously in support of everything that you're doing. Raise the Flag to me is the most innovative, ingenuitive way to raise money directly for our athletes, the ones who are in dire need of financial support so that we can win the gold. If anyone hasn't understood what the Olympics about, it's about two things to me. One, unification of the world, and two, winning the gold, being your best, pursuing your potential. And it could be a matter like my friend Apollo Ono, whose pictures as you walk into the Olympic Center in Colorado Springs, 0.0001 second between gold and silver, but that's the spirit of excellence. Explain to everyone Raise the Flag and what you guys are doing for our Olympians.
Yeah, well, Raise the Flag is it's Stacy's thing, and he's trying to help out amateur athletics, you know, the Olympic movement. And it's, as you said, we always need funds to chase our dreams. You know, we're trying to go all around the world, face the best in the world, and you know, no one wants to ask for money, and it costs money to make money. And so you shirts, you want your product out there, but athletes don't generally have the time to build their brand, if you will. And Stacy's coming in and taking that part over for the athletes. And when he first talked to me, I said, like, what's the real deal, man? How is this helping you? It's too good to be true, but it's just that he's got a pure heart. You know, he's there to help. And I'm excited to be getting in with the Raise the Flag and doing my part to help the OKRTC, help wrestlers specifically get to the Olympics, chase their dreams, and you know, be successful. As you know, success isn't always winning. You know, success is finding that joy, being happy in what you're doing, and bettering yourself as a person, as an athlete, as a Christian, what have you.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I believe in enjoying the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your own potential. And, you know, wrestling, especially, which you're involved with, really illustrates that pursuit because you have so many varying styles of wrestling. You have varying weights and classes. But in the end, you know, you're just doing your best. And, you know, man to man or woman to woman, you're doing your best at being your best on that mat in the so many seconds or minutes. What are we looking like for the Olympics this year? I know we've been delayed. We have no fans over in Japan. It's hard enough to train for 4 years or 5 years for one, you know, tournament. But more importantly, it makes it more difficult when, you know, everybody's worried about their own health and their family's health and their coach's health and our community's health. What have been some of the challenges, and how do we look this year going into the Olympics?
We look really well, really good. Wrestling specifically looks real good. Personally, I think it's going to happen. Sports is all about overcoming adversity, you know, and I think that's, as you said, it brings the world together. And right now we really need the Olympics. And I'm biased, you know, I'm an Olympian. I'm biased. I think it needs to happen. But throughout history, sports has always helped in the bad times. You know, we had the Great Depression. It was the racing, the boxing, you know, it helped bring people out of it. It gives them something to get behind, gives people something to put their energy into, all that, you know, the stress of everything happening, and you get somewhere to aim that. And I think that's why this has been really hard and difficult. You know, you're not supposed to leave your house. You're not supposed to hug people. You're not supposed to be around. And it's been rough. And you know, the Olympics wasn't going to happen, but I think there's enough of a push, and people need it. You know, we really need the Olympics to happen. And like I said, I'm biased. I'm maybe only seeing one side of the story, but I really hope it happens. I think they're doing their best in Japan to make it happen. And yeah, if I had to put money down, I'd put it on the Olympics happening.
I would too, and I agree with you, and appreciate all your efforts, Sam, for what you're doing. Now, last question, real quick. You know, there's such a subtle difference between, and I know your family's been in wrestling, you all have been in the Olympics. There is such a subtle difference between gold, silver, bronze, fourth, fifth, sixth. You know, what do you think that difference is? Does it come down to training, heart, natural ability? You know, where's that subtlety of the Michael Jordans of the world, or the Steph Currys of the world, or the Apollo owners of the world? What's that subtle difference that allows someone to be the best in the world?
Yeah, well, let me give your Apollo story real quick. I lived at the training center for a year, and before the 08 Olympics in Beijing, and I worked the front desk, and I was going in one day to go to a workout, and here comes Apollo, and you know, I beat him at the top of the stairs in a race. I don't think he knew we were racing, but I won. I counted, so I had my picture, you know, on top of his for a little bit, you know, until they took it down. But
I love it.
yeah, I beat him. I counted.
I counted.
There in Colorado Springs, and for a long time he had the record. It's a half mile, basically straight up stairs, and he, I think he did it in 16 minutes or something. Maybe he can tell you what it was, but it's absolutely incredible how fast he did it. That man was. He's fast on land and on the ice. But the difference, you know, the greats, they know how to win. Pure and simple, they have all the little things you need, whether it's competitiveness or heart or skill or athleticism, and they're able to put it all together and find a way to win. And those guys, man, those 2-3-time Olympians, it's incredible what they do. I tried out for 4 Olympic teams, made 1, you know, and I'm battling, and I feel like I'm really good. And those guys undefeated for years and winning so many titles. But all the other Olympians, you know, there's something like 3,000 athletes at the Olympics, only 300 gold medals. You know, only 300 people end up on top. And the difference, that half second, it can be anything. It can be the guy that had the good day. It can be the guy that ate right. It can be, did the ref fall on your side or their side? You know, everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. There's a lot of luck involved. The key is doing everything you can. You know, we call it champion's mindset. You got to do all the little things right. Everything, you take care of what you're eating. You take care of how you sleep. You take care of everything you can control. And, you know, outside control is outside control. And I really believe it's those little things. You know, that's what my dad taught me. It's all about the little things. You do the little things right, and everything else, you know, I can sleep at night if I went out and gave 100%. You know, I can't.
Absolutely.
The ref made a bad call. I can sleep, but when I go out and I don't give 100%, and I'm playing the game and I'm trying to win on a call, you know, I'm trying to make the ref do a call, and I don't sleep good at night when I lose, because I could have done better. I should have, I would have, I could have. And those are the ones that keep me up nights after nights. And, you know, I find when I'm giving all I can give and I'm doing everything right, good things happen. I'll finish real quick with a quick story, and you've probably heard it. They brought a bunch of Olympians together and did a test. Asked, what do you do? What are you thinking when you're doing the dishes? And the average Olympian, you know, I'm thinking about my day. I'm thinking about when I got to have practice, what I got to do the rest of the day. That's the average Olympian. And then you have the good Olympians, the guys that, you know, they've medaled, they've been around, they've been on world teams. And what are you thinking about? I'm daydreaming about what I got to do How am I going to win? Everything. I'm always thinking about, for me, it's wrestling. I'm always thinking about wrestling, what I need to do right. And then they had the greats, you know, the greats, the multi-time gold medalists. And what is it you're thinking about when you're doing the dishes? And doing the dishes, man, I'm the best dishwasher in the world right now. I'm making sure they're clean. And that's that champion's mindset. You know, whatever you're doing it absolutely to your best. And it becomes how you live. Everything you do it your best.
I agree. Spirit of excellence. I've been around, as you know, all the Pro Football Hall of Famers, baseball, basketball, boxing, and the Olympians. And there's a spirit of excellence just to pursue your own potential. As Sally was talking, the janitor, right? They're
Right.
healers. The dishwashers, you know, and every single thing. My kids make fun of me, although I've never been an Olympian. I'm an average Division III athlete, but I did my best. I was just born with less of a quantum ability than you, but my best was to be an average Division III athlete. And I go to bed at night knowing I did my best, like you said. And instead of wanting something, you know, I've been blessed in other areas of my life where other people could work to their potential and will never reach the level that I can reach in certain areas. And everybody wants to take those strengths and move them to the place that best suits all, the abundant level. And that's what Raise the Flag's about. It's allowing people to pursue their potential, giving them the financial support while we get cool apparel, cool gear. Hold up that hat one more time.
Yeah.
It's super cool. Raise the flag, everybody. We are the best nation in the world. We have the most freedom, and that's why we are the best nation. We get choices and opportunities and options. Let's keep those available. RaiseTheFlag.com. I am so appreciative of you, Sam, and a big shout out to our boy Stacy. He's the kindest person I know, generous person, and I appreciate him helping us raise money for the Olympians. I appreciate you. Take care. Awesome.
Man, go USA.
Go USA. Here we go. USA. I'm sorry, but it's the greatest nation in the world. I do not want to live anywhere else. Mikey, LFG USA. All right. Our final guest here is Jubril in the house. Let's give a little reach out. I'll answer a quick question here we go. Top 3 tips to your 26-year-old self. 1, know your what. 2, know your who. Ask for help. And 3, know your how. Be a student of your calendar. Know your what, know your who, know your how. You'll easily be able to prioritize those things and apply your why. So know your what, your who, your how. If you want those 5 daily practices, my 3 best tips, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you want my book, ebook, audiobook, you want me to sign a book, send it to you, ship it to you, all you got to do is email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you want to join my text community, 949-298-2905. I am looking for my friend Jubril. He is the CEO and founder of Passport Heavy and the CMO of the Live Richer Academy. Hopefully he is in here, but we'll keep the questions rolling. Thank you so much, Max. I appreciate you. Let's keep the questions rolling. How do we not get drained of energy when dealing with legal issues? Look, any issues that drain you means you're creating interference between you and what you're connected to and through. So identify those needs of the ego: fear, anxiety, worry. Remember, worry is wishing for what you don't want. Only action can resolve your feelings, those feelings of anger, worry, anxiousness, separateness, inferiority, superiority, resentment, guilt, all the things that come when we are fairly or unfairly juxtaposed into some legal dealings. You need to heal that with gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. You have to heal it with actions to resolve. Remember, there's no problems, and if you have those solutions, go find somebody that can help you, someone that's sit in the situation that you want to be in, that have resolved those legal issues so that you can effectively and efficiently resolve them for yourself. Remember, take action. That's how we change the way that we feel. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Logic is not going to change it. Action will. And find out and be aware of those triggers. Heal it with the solutions that are available for everyone, and focus in on what you want. Don't focus in on what you don't want, what's missing, or what you're afraid of. All right. Why someone can't be able to make mathematic before you. Why someone can't able to mathematic before you. Not really sure. what that says. So try again. What's the most important thing to teach your kids? 4 things, maybe 3. 1, always do your best. 2, learn something. And 3, have fun. Always do your best, learn something, and have fun. Everything, going to school, playing outside, whatever it is, it's just like Sam was talking about, right? Just like Sam was talking about. If you are doing a chore for your parents, then do the best you can, learn something, and have fun doing it. You give meaning to everything you see. You cannot find outside of you what you can't find inside of you. All right, let's look for another question here. How do you break out of a slump? Well, there's no such thing as a slump, right? Negative behavior works in its favor. If you're feeling there's a slump, that means you're creating interference between you and what you want. Interference between you and the greatest feeling. You in between the truth, the light, the love, and the lessons that you're aspiring and pursuing. And so what I would do is, if you feel as if you have interference or you're in a quote unquote slump, then take a step back, stop, breathe, get back to center, see what's triggering the interference. You know, is it people, places, things you're listening to, watching? Is it needs of the ego that need to be right or offended or separate, inferior, superior? Implement with action, gratitude. Try to find the light, the love, and the lessons. Implement forgiveness. Forgive yourself for that interference. Take accountability. Ask yourself, what did I do to attract this to myself? And what am I supposed to learn from it? And then you will clear the interference and effectively communicate not only with others, but with the greatest source of light, love, and lessons, allowing that powerful light to come through you with the forgiveness, with the gratitude, with accountability for and through others, in an abundant world of more than enough. That's what I want for everyone, is to wake up in the morning and to give the meaning that they see at a higher frequency of vibration and awareness, to plateau and grow, that there's more than enough of everything for everyone. You can do it. It's just practice. Spend minutes and moments outside of that feeling of enlightenment. Spend minutes and moments outside of the feeling of happiness, joy, empowerment, passion, purpose, and profitability. Spend minutes and moments, because when you are out of it, you can stop, drop, and roll. Remember, when you are out of that, your mind, body, and soul are on fire. Everybody knows when you're on fire, you got to stop, drop, and roll. Use the 5 daily practices. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you want the 5 daily practices, if you want my book, ebook, audiobook, if you want me to sign a book, send it to you, ship it to you, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Join our text community, 949-298-2905. Did Miles win his baseball game? Yes, they are the champions, and they won 5-2. Miles made a big play in the last inning in center field. That boy is a tracker. He is both the safety in baseball and in football. He's a pick 6 kid. I love it. And my children come through me, but I love them. I'm proud of them, and I always have their back. Shout out to Miles and his team, all of them, and his coaches, great people. Way to be persistent and consistent in the pursuit of their potential. All right, last question. It's More Good News Wednesday. So if you want more good news, you join me every Wednesday. There's no humps here, just more good news. And we are here every Wednesday to help you with more good news, with great people like Sally and Sam, and all these great questions like Chef Marshall in the house, Nick, Christina, jakey, bakey, Colleen. Do you ever get thrown off during your speeches? If so, how do you get back to center? Oh my goodness. So very rarely now do I get thrown off, as long as I have a clock. If I don't have a clock, I will get thrown off. Or if my family is there and my wife sits up front and gets up and leaves, those are 2 of the things that'll get me off track. But because my speeches are about lessons and stories, I can get back on track once I realize the story that I'm telling. And usually nobody else knows the difference that I got off track, but I'm just teaching lessons and telling stories to help empower people to sit in a situation that they want to get to by giving them directions, using pain or my struggles or my setbacks or my mistakes as an indicator that we can take them to a better place, a better position, or make my position better. It's that simple. All right, everyone. It is More Good News Wednesday. Reach out to me if you want my 5 daily practices. Know your what, your who, your how, your now, and your why. Apply that why. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you want my book, the ebook, audiobook, or you want me to sign a book, send it to you, ship it, pay for shipping, david@dmeltzer.com. That's quite simple. Last but not least, on More Good News Wednesday, I'm going to leave you with my favorite piece of advice, which is be kind to your future self and do good deeds. I'll see you tomorrow.